my friends are heathens, take it slow. Wait for them to ask you who you know. Please don't make any sudden moves. You don't know the half of the abuse. All my friends are heathens, take it slow. Wait for them to ask you who you know. Please don't make any sudden moves. You don't know the half of the abuse. Welcome to the room of people who have rooms of people that they loved one day docked away. Just because we check the guns at the door doesn't mean our brains will change from hand grenades. You laughing on the psychopath sitting next to you. You laughing on the murderer sitting next to you. You think I'd get here sitting next to you. But after all I've said, please don't forget. All my friends are heathens, take it slow. Wait for them to ask you who you know. Please don't make any sudden moves. You don't know the half of the abuse. We don't deal with outsiders very well. They say newcomers have a certain smell. Yeah, trust issues not to mention. They say they can smell your intentions. You laughing on the freak show sitting next to you. You laugh some weird people sitting next to you. You think I did not get here sitting next to you. But after all I've said, please don't forget. All my friends are heathens, take it slow. Wait for them to ask you who you know. Please don't make any sudden moves. You don't know the half of the abuse. Why'd you come? You knew you should have stayed. I tried to warn you just to stay away. And now they're outside ready to bust. It looks like you might be one of us.
Hi everyone. How are you all doing today? I'm Veronica Bartolini with Unchained Hearts, and I have a very special guest, and I'm also on Soma Fusion, Mind, Body, and Soul on Facebook Live right now, as well as on YouTube Live. So follow us there. I have someone that contacted me for a reading a few months ago, and we became really good friends. And she is U.S. Army veteran, and also she is a super soldier recovering her memories. And we're going to talk to Miss Karen Berg. Take it away, Karen.
Oh, well, yes, I did contact Veronica for a reading because I saw her show with James on YouTube.
James Ring?
James Ring, and Veronica was talking to James about her time in the Hulk program, and when she was in the Hulk program, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'm sorry. People call me and interrupt.
Well,
so
this
Veronica,
is a phone show, so I know they might interrupt you, but there is going to be like people calling in and asking us questions.
Okay. So Veronica was talking to James about her time in the Hulk program and how she saw the Blue Ranger. And some of the things that Veronica was talking about being a Hulk soldier really resonated with me, and that began my awakening. And the memories are already there, but just really tucked away.
And did you want to, thank you, Karen, did you want to share anything about your other background, where you were born or your parents, or anything that made you feel different growing up?
So I wasn't sure if we would get into that later, but my stepfather was in the military, and just moving then. But before that, my father was in the military as well, and when we were stationed in San Diego, when I was just about a year old, 1 year old, a year and a half, I have memories of being taken into a spaceship, and then I'm not quite clear on what they were doing with me in their spaceship. I just remember being taken up from my bedroom in San Diego, and when they would drop me off, it's like they were careless about where they dropped me back off. They just put me in the neighborhood, or they put me in the neighbor's house, and I'm not sure why they did that to me. And I couldn't find my way back home as a 18-month-old to 3-year-old child. And then later on in 1972 to 1971 to 72, 73, in the woods of 2 different neighborhoods on Whidbey Island, being chased by clowns, actual clowns in the neighborhood, in the woods, in 2 separate neighborhoods on the island there.
Karen, was this in 3D, or was this an astral, or was it a flashback memory?
It is a real actual thing that happened to me, but it is like
I'm gonna ask a silly question because I hear somebody in the audience in my mind asking, was this during Halloween?
yeah, it wasn't Halloween.
Exactly, it was not.
Yeah, it wasn't Halloween.
How old were you?
So the first clown incident, I was 3 to 4.
Mhm.
And the second one, I was 6, 5 or 6.
Mhm.
And they were really scary. They just, it's like they were hunting us, came out of nowhere, and then chasing us. And
Yeah, I know I have similar memories, but not of clowns. I have the memories of being chased by these hybrid males who would turn into like these dinosaur looking beings. And so yeah, I've talked about that before. That just reminded me of the mansions, the castles around there. And I think it has something to do with Project Montauk and Project Kruger. And I have a lot of like memories of zombies. I don't know if you do, like shooting people or killing zombies or just killing somebody, because in these programs with the SSP, they do that. They'll fracture our minds to create altars, and Penny Bradley talks about altars, and she just wrote her book. So I'm going to be seeing her in Vegas, and hopefully she'll get more published. But anyway, she talks about the different altars being fragmented. And do you have any recalls or anything about mansions or underground, being chased underground or fighting?
not right now. it's a very fragmented things that,
But you were being chased in the woods by these clowns. Yeah.
yes.
So yeah, with some of the programs, they would, as children, they would scare us and they would chase us, and to see how far we can run or whatever. They would put us, against other kids fighting to kill each other to see who was the fittest of them all, like they say, or who was qualified for this program. I was gonna ask you, do you also have memories of the dolphins? Because I know we had that in common.
I don't have memories of the dolphins, but I do know that I have I have ability to remote view, and
Yeah, there was many programs with remote viewing, Stargate One, the Monroe Project, also SOG, so that's Special Operations Group. With Special Operations Group, they would hook you up to this screen, to a machine, and they wanted to see if you can jump into portals, remote view. And then that's when later on, when they knew you were good enough, they would take, me personally, they would take me in my sleep and use the alien technology to just put everybody asleep or cause paralysis, or take me in my consciousness, like they say, take my consciousness. So anything like that, anything to do with stargates or portals that you recall going in through, or
I just have memories of standing in Stargate, but I can't put them together.
do you remember kind of like how old you were, or not yet?
Just throughout my young childhood.
Mm-hmm. And
When you live near military bases.
so pretty much you were like what they call a military brat, moving
Yeah.
from. What are some nice positive experiences that you had as growing up?
Oh, getting to experience all of America instead of just living in one place at a time. Just most people live in one place and they grow up and they go to one school and they know, which is not a bad thing. But I feel very fortunate that I got to live in the American Southwest, and I got to experience lots of different cultures in my lifetime, and languages, and
Do you speak any other language other than English? I'm reading your mind, right?
yes,
From that conversation.
well, that is something that I was exposed to, living around Hispanic people and in the American Southwest, and living in California. I picked up Spanish, so I can speak a little Spanish, but
I think you do well.
Yeah, I
I
can.
think
Yeah. So, and then later on, when I joined the Army, I was stationed in Korea, and I learned to speak Korean, although that's a hard one if you don't have someone to keep it going.
Wow.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to learn Korean?
It just a couple of weeks. Someone taught me the basics in a couple of 2-week course, and then I was off and running, and because I live there, and I'm not the soldier who's going to stay on base.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to buy a bus ticket and fake it till I make it, and then the Koreans will teach you how to speak the language as you go. So yeah.
Yeah, because some countries don't want people to advance. They want to keep the secret lingo or the slang or whatever to themselves.
Yeah.
So anything new that you want to share with the public? I wanted to ask you if you wanted to say anything about what you went through medically and your weight loss before that, and because I have some friends that have gone through what you have gone through, and I just find it very encouraging, man. You're a badass. You came through, you know. So with that medical portion, do you want to go into that? Like, how did you find out? How old are you? Who was your support system, etc.?
I think I must have come into this world on a soul contract as a loner and someone who is not does not have much of a support system. So on some level I ended up with a narcissistic boyfriend through a breast cancer experience. And I believe my breast cancer was directly related to my chemical being exposed to chemicals in the Army. And
What kind of things that did you do for the Army? What was your
I was a chemical nuclear biological specialist.
damn, smarty pants?
Well, not really.
Oh,
But
come on. What did you do? Like, can you say what you did, or is it a secret?
I was chemical and nuclear and biological, and
Well, Karen, for people that don't know, like, for example, people that are not veterans like us, like, can you explain what exactly you did? Like, was it looking through a petri dish? Was it exploding bombs outside? I don't know, something.
no, it was basically just knowing what the different chemicals were that would be used during chemical warfare and teaching soldiers how to decontaminate themselves and their equipment, and knowing that we could have a biological attack such as the one we're experiencing now, where I believe that COVID is a biological attack on humanity.
And I know I'm hearing how so.
Well, I believe that in the early days of 2000, when this was first reported in 2000, I believe it was released on purpose by a government entity
This is
to cause havoc, to cause us to have to close down, and to cause small businesses to have to close down, and to create the havoc that we have experienced.
Do you think it has something to do with Morgellons, that it's going to cause more Morgellons? Because this morning, of course, I wear my beanie hat, you know, the one that blocks the EMF Wi-Fi thingy. I heard again the name Morgellons, and like 6 months ago, for a whole month, I was like, well, what is that? Because I was listening to it again. You know, I'm a psychic medium. You are a psychic also. So, you know, we always ask ourselves, what does this mean, or what am I trying to tell myself? What is this?
I don't understand what Morgellons is. I'm not familiar with that. What is that?
It's like, to me, how I understood it, it's like the chemtrails that they're pouring down.
Oh,
You can even share a screen if you want to. I can't do it on mine because I don't have my laptop, for some reason, doesn't want to do Zoom.
I can't do it on my phone, but I'm looking up what Morgellons is.
Maybe Katie, do you have anything on that, Mama, if you're not busy? And also
No, but I can look it up for you.
thank you, Mama. And so I see psoriasis. I see okay. But see, there's another thing too, because I have the alpha Draco DNA, right? As well. O negative blood type, and my grandmother as well, my mom's side. So she was always very and Penny Brandon and I have talked the rash, we're very sensitive to chemicals. Like there's certain perfumes that I can't wear. It causes migraines and stuff like that. So and when my grandma, she always had to have like special. Ooh, what was that?
Sorry.
Okay, so I have the Morgellons disease here. It's an understood Morgellons disease is an uncommon, poorly understood condition characterized by small fibers or other particles emerging from the skin sores. People with this condition often report feeling as if there was something was crawling underneath their skin or stinging on their skin. It's like a sensation of crawling, biting, stinging on the skin. And they have basically the fibers underneath embedded in and erupting from the unbroken skin or slow healing sores. It can be very similar to Lyme disease.
Interesting.
Oh,
Thank
that would
And I
be
think
something that-
from reports of Morgellons disease, there's a lot of people that are talking about. It's kind of somewhat of a conspiracy theory because it is so rare and poorly understood. But it does go into the fibers go into black goo, goes into
the nanobot.
yeah, nanobots, that kind of stuff.
Okay,
Thank you.
that that sounds like something I have.
Oh, yeah. I want to hear more about it.
So
I know.
20 years ago, when the internet first opened up, I started going down these rabbit holes and reading about the chemtrails. And 20 years ago, I was reading about Event 201. I was reading about Agenda 2020 and Agenda 2030, and now we're living it. Of course, when it takes 20 years for something to unfold, I was living my life in between going down these rabbit holes and reading, and I can't believe here we are.
Yeah. Now there's a couple things that I wanted to say. I'm not sure what blood type you are, but usually it affects the O negative, Rh negative people more.
Right.
Because
I'm an O blood type, but my Rh factor is positive.
okay, so you're a carrier of O negative. Yeah, my both kids are O positive. So with my daughter, she had many rashes, and they would usually come under the how do you say, the armpits, and they would cause her to have like these pimples that would grow, and then the pus would come out green. She had to go on medication. I'm not minocycline, and that's such a draining.
That's an antibiotic.
Yeah, antibiotic. And so I feel that it has a lot to do with the chemtrails that they pour here. And also, there's a fine line between that and then, because we have the Draco blood, and the Draco alpha Dracos are very white, like Penny the other day said, white as paper. She was on Zan John's show. And it's true. My father's side is extremely white, and with the light blue or green eyes and blonde hair, and they all are very sensitive, to different chemicals. So it has something to do with the breathing ability here. When we come from that, when we were augmented, we'll say, as children with this blood source or type. And so it's really hard to breathe at times outside. I was placed on a CPAP because, I couldn't breathe. And I still have to use an inhaler once in a while. The allergies were chronic when I was a kid. They would give me these big green pills, for allergies, and it's crazy. Have you experienced also, you said rashes, yes. And then you nodded when I asked about the breathing part.
Yes. Yeah.
When did you notice that, as a kid or later?
No, it was later on after the chemical exposure in the military.
So what kind of situation were you in? And you said it was breast cancer?
Yes. I had the kind of breast cancer that triple negative breast cancer is from being exposed to chemicals in your environment. It's not from hormonal, it's not a hormonal breast cancer.
Is that what they try and say to the public?
That's what they
That
say.
it's hormonal? Is that what they say?
It's my breast cancer is not caused by hormones. It's triple negative is environmental
Yeah. Do you
from
think,
exposure.
yes, do you think you also had radiation from like these experiences, like when we were taken, abducted and stuff? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting. So real quick before I forget, we're on Soma Fusion, Mind, Body, and Soul. We're on 7 p.m. Pacific time to 9 p.m. guys. I excuse me. I always say that it's Mountain Standard Time, but blonde moment, no, it's not. It's actually 7 p.m. Pacific time. Arizona doesn't change. So for you all that were waiting for us at 6 o'clock, I forgot to tell you guys that. So, okay. So I wanted to ask you, are you going to, have you ever been regressed to get memories?
I was regressed one time. I'd like to do it again. I'd like to do a regression with James Rink. James Rink.
Oh yeah, I gave him your name and I told him that you were gonna contact him.
Yeah. Or I would like to do a regression, the Dolores Cannon way. I think it's QHHT is, I
Yeah.
can't remember what it stands for, but I would like to, and I have had some other hypnotherapy.
Different therapy, what? Sorry.
I've had some other hypnotherapy before I was living in Las Vegas when I went to see Misha.
Oh, that's right. Misha
Yeah.
Johnson, she's gonna be there too. Can't wait to meet her. Were you ever, you just brought up something where I was hypnotized in the police academy, and that I believe that has a lot to do with the Omega project, the one where you have to self-destruct before you wake up, or have an awakening, as they say. Where do you remember ever being hypnotized in the military, in the army?
I remember they did a lot of stuff that I really can't talk about. I'm sorry.
Do you have any lost time? You don't want to talk about it. I understand. Talk about something you want to talk about. I know what. Karen Berg, she makes these delicious meals. They're like organic, some are vegan, some are vegetarian. Do you have any special recipes you want to share with us, or anything that helped you along the way of weight loss, and share with people how much weight loss you had? And did you ever think about maybe doing like a little little food truck there where you are?
Well, because of my PTSD, I really can't get myself. So I really would never want to do a food truck because,
Or you know what I mean, like a food business delivery. I was just giving you an example.
yeah, I have actually thought about doing a food service in the past where I put together meals for someone who is diabetic or someone who is trying to lose weight, who I used to do a lot of food prep when I worked, I used to be an Olympic weightlifter. I was doing CrossFit, and food prep is a big deal for me, especially when I was working, especially when I was working out every day. And I have a tendency, if there's no food prepped for me to just grab and eat, I will eat candy bars because that's what I love to eat. So
I remember those
used to-
conversations.
yeah, I used to meal prep even when I didn't work, and then especially when I did work. So I used to think, wow, I could do this for a living in my kitchen and have someone come over and pick up their meal.
You know what oh, you're getting a caller. We getting a caller or you, Kate? Karen?
No, it's a personal, someone's
Oh,
calling.
okay. I was gonna say
Um,
I have an idea for you. If you I don't know, you probably thought about it, I don't know, but
I can't work.
no, like online, dude. Like doing I don't know, you can ask for donations or you can do it for free. It's up to you. Like for diabetics, like writing down special recipes for people and maybe creating a website or something.
What I'm more interested in is uh, doing past life reading based on your astrological chart, and then just telling you what I'm picking up on, because I'm more in tune with that.
You know, I'm gonna be your first customer.
And then what I'm also more interested in doing is helping people learn how to relax through breathing. And I need to find somebody who could help me with a certification process. For, you know, you always have to have some kind of, these days, it seems like breathing always works for me. And I've been able to overcome a fear of flying. Although I didn't really have a debilitating fear of flying, although sometimes there are some instances where I was really afraid to fly, but there was really no other way. I have to fly. I live on an island in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, and if I want to see my daughter on the mainland, I have to fly. So there have been some times when I've used some Kundalini breathing, and I would really love to teach other people what I do to calm down. You know, I've had some horrible experiences in my life, and I think, I can't breathe. And then when I just use my techniques of breathing and I use some chanting, I can suddenly calm down, and I suddenly find that I've really kind of time lapsed or bent the time, and I'm on the other side.
Yeah, do you think you're a time traveler like me?
I actually do, although sometimes in this time realm that we're in, I'm like, why am I not doing it? Why is it not happening?
Do you think they placed a block on you maybe to not remember, or?
I actually think that there is a huge block on me that I can't get around it. I can't get through it. I'm like this, like, you know, okay, I sound crazy, but
No.
the movie Star Wars and Battlestar Galactica and all those movies, when I was a kid, I used to go, yeah, I recognize that. Well, I was just there.
Right.
I mean, of course you can't say that stuff. But when Han Solo was in Frozen like this, it's like when they stopped experimenting with me, they put some kind of freeze. And it's not fair because I know that you can time travel.
Mhm. Well, when I
But
go see you, I will break that shit.
that's good, because I know that there are places here on the island where there are portals.
Yeah,
And I don't really want to get into that because I don't want to make the natives mad. I have the utmost respect for the natives here, and
yeah. We don't. When I go, we don't have to tell them what we're doing or anything like that. But I understand online you don't want to say that.
no, I don't. I don't.
Tell me more about your CrossFit bodybuilding. How long, did it, we'll say how much did you lose as far as weight numbers, but were you bulky? What was your favorite thing? Did you like to squat? I don't like leg day, but I have to do it. And after I do it, I'm like, damn.
Yeah. So when I was in CrossFit, it's something that I started when my husband passed away when I was 42, 43. And it really kind of came about because I heard these people. I was out to dinner with this group of people that I like to hang out with, and I heard them talking about, oh yeah, there's this gym and they encourage us to eat this paleo, keto. And I was eating the paleo way because that's another story. I had lost 100 pounds eating paleo, and I had lost 100 pounds eating paleo. I cut sugar. That's what I did. I cut sugar out of my diet. I cut wheat products, pasta, dairy, or wheat, bakery, bread, cake. I cut it out of my diet. And I cut out dairy, ice cream, dairy, anything white. And so I was eating paleo, and I was out to dinner with some friends, and they were like, oh yeah, bacon and paleo. And I thought, wow, where's this gym where they reinforced my diet? And so I looked up CrossFit, and I lived in the next town over. So I just started going to CrossFit. And so I had been in the Army, and I went to this gym where the owner was, he was a former Marine, and he didn't like me. He didn't like me, but I'm a soldier, and I show up. And okay, you don't like me, but I show up, and I'm tough, and I mean, I cry inside, but I'm tough, and I show up, and I lift, and I do the best I can. And he kept getting in my face like a Marine does with a Marine. Well, I was Army, and like, we don't do that much. I mean, we don't do that outside of training too
Yeah, but
much.
not that much. Just, boot camp and pre-boot
And
camp.
I was a little fragile because my husband had died the 8 months to a year before. I was still a little fragile. So one day I came to the CrossFit workout, and he marined his way over to me, the way they walk. I have a lot of respect for Marines. I love them, but this Marine had it out for me, and he came over to me and he said, "You're no longer welcome in my gym. You cannot come here." So I had to find another CrossFit gym in my town. I wanted it. The thing is I wanted it. I had it in me. I think after watching you, I recognize that I am a Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
I know what you went through. There's the scenery that you described, and I was like, yeah, hell yeah, I think I lived that. And I was waking up. So I went to CrossFit on another gym, just picked another gym, and before I knew it, I was like, I can back squat 185 pounds and deadlift 225 pounds. Are you kidding me?
Hell
Well,
yeah.
that is my 1 round max. That is, and then I found I could do it for my 5 round max. And then I was like, then I bulked up. But I thinned. It made me thin. It made me have a 6-pack ab.
Woo!
But yeah, just about. I mean, I've never really been like a bodybuilder physique, but I thinned out. And then they reinforce a certain type of diet and no sugar, and that's nice because then everybody gets worried that you're not eating enough Pop-Tarts, and oh my God, your diet. Like, it's funny. But then then I was strong and I could lift and I didn't have to, so then I got a job in Hawaii and I moved here and I found out I had breast cancer, and then the chemotherapy and radiation just wiped out my strength.
Wow.
And I'm telling you, it takes about 5 years to start feeling better. And I've been 4 years out of breast cancer, and this is my 4th year. I can say it's my first year that I finally can say I feel better.
Yay. I'm happy for you. What are your
Yeah.
plans to do you want to get back to where you were, or what do you plan to do as far as I know you're doing great with your health and your eating and all that. You do everything organic. What are your goals physically? Like, muscle.
I want to get back to lifting and getting, I don't think I want to do CrossFit, but I do want to lift like you are lifting. You're not CrossFit, but you are
I don't do
lifting.
CrossFit.
Want to.
Sorry to interrupt you. There's a
Okay.
funny meme. It's like, I belong to all these bodybuilding, weight training, whatever, on Facebook, and it's like they always make fun of the people at CrossFit. And then there's a funny meme. I forgot to send it to Katie, but it says Zumba, and then the girl's like lifting the heaviest weight over her shoulders. It's like, bitch, I lift,
Yeah, I used to have a t-shirt that said that.
Really?
I actually had a t-shirt that said that, and I wore to CrossFit, and I was all that. And my girlfriend's at CrossFit. If she's over there outlifting me, and she's little and scrawny, I don't know. I think I could lift. She's my age. I'll lift what she's lifting. And then I found that I could. Then I found I could lift five more pounds than she was. And then and then and then they would cheer me on, and I would cheer them on. And before I knew it, they were like, "Oh, we want Karen to be on our rowing team because she's a good rower." And then we would be like, "Oh, well, we want her on our team because she's good at lifting." And I found that I was a really good rower. I want to get that back because I go out in the ocean here, and I'm not as strong as I used to be. But I think CrossFit ruined my shoulders. I do think, so.
Do you swim out there? Because I heard swimming is pretty good. I love to swim. I can't wait till they open the pool here, and I can't wait to go to the ocean and swim with the dolphins.
Yeah.
But
I do love to swim, and it is something that I did learn in my early childhood. And
who taught you how to swim?
My dad, but then my dad was Navy, and then just living around and on Navy bases, there was always access to swim lessons.
Mm-hmm.
So they were always free or very reduced price. So I always had swim lessons. And then the Army taught me how to swim with a plastic rifle and full uniform helmet. And they kicked me off the high dive. That's combat training there.
That's fun.
But it was funny. It wasn't fun. I mean, it was fun. It was fun, but yeah, I was gonna say I grew up with I grew up with a parent who was a P3 pilot. When I went down my rabbit hole, I discovered that P3 pilots were out there looking for alien spacecraft. And it's like, I think the Men in Black are going to show up on my doorstep for saying that. But when you,
Was that your kitty cat, Esther?
something fell off the counter.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. So, you know, when Admiral Byrd flew across the bottom of the Earth, he flew across the bottom of the Earth. What is that? What is it?
Antarctica.
Yeah, Antarctica. It's not just a flat piece of land, it's hollow. And he discovered he was taken inside of the hollow earth. And like, I can't deny this stuff anymore. I cannot deny this stuff anymore. And now here we are 20 years later.
I love you, Karen.
I cannot deny this stuff anymore. And I actually had a parent who was he's still in denial. My parent, who was the pilot, is still in denial, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to talk about it to you anymore. And then my husband, who passed away, he was a submariner, and then he actually told me that yes, you can go underwater through to the other side of the United States without ever having to go around.
Yeah, that's through Sandia.
Yeah, but he was telling me this stuff, and I was like, I kind of knew that, and I don't know how I knew that, and then I wish my husband had told me more, but he didn't. He's like, I have to shut up now, and I was like, I just had too much respect for him. I was like,
oh.
And then he died, and I should have said, no, tell me more.
Maybe he was triggered, and that's why maybe he's like, I better stop.
I think he was. I actually think he was. It triggered him. I mean, I felt like I was going to choke just now. I felt like I was choking, but I got it out.
Thank you. What was I going to say? I flew a Cessna when I was in junior high. They picked me, I don't know how or why. I was at Apollo Junior High here in town, and they picked me for the Wrights brothers. And there was only 2 of us kids that they picked from junior high. And they had other kids from other schools. And it was at the old Tucson airport. And I was fascinated because I wanted to go to NASA when I was a kid. I wanted to be a pilot. I wanted to do everything. I wanted to be a neurosurgeon. I wanted to be a cop. I wanted to be an attorney. I wanted to do it all. So they took me there, and it was fun. And then the pilot next to me, he said, okay, now it's your turn to fly. I'm like, what? I'm a kid. Well, I flew it, and it was awesome. It was so awesome. So, and then it's funny because you were talking about flying, and then in my dream now form, how do you say, astral travel, a week ago, I was teaching my mom how to fly just with her body. So I thought that was cool.
I would like to get over the barrier. I don't know if I was remote viewing or if I was astral traveling, but
I've astral traveled before flying, and it's fun because
somebody on TikTok said I was lying.
Oh, fuck what
I was
TikTok said.
I know. But
Use my language.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not lying, and you can't get inside my brain and know what was happening, and how dare you say I was lying? Like, seriously.
And the hardest part is to keep afloat. It's in the beginning when I used to fly. I mean, I've been flying in the Astro since I was a kid, and I didn't know what it was called. So I would do the whole Superman thing, the Wonder Woman, you know, and
Yeah.
do all kinds of turns and diving and flying off of. I can still fly off of buildings in my Astro. I get away from the men in black. They're always chasing me. And so I had to learn. And then one time, you know, I've been wanting to ask anybody out there, has anybody had a dream, or you, Karen, where I'm in the Akashic Records library and there's this woman that's so beautiful. I don't know why she reminds me of this goddess. Um, it's a cross, she's a cross between Medusa and a beautiful, like Queen, Isis Queen, I don't know what it is. And she's teaching me how to fly, and we're looking at these books, but not like the books are not floating or anything, but she's teaching me about gravity and how to hold on to the, we'll say, air. And it's pretty fun. It's pretty fun. I let myself go down in my dreams because I like to go down all the way to pick myself right up. It's an adrenaline rush. I don't know if you've gone through that.
I can't say that I have,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah,
It is fun, isn't it, to fly?
I have flown, and I have flown in the Astral, and my father used to fly a Cessna, and he did let me fly.
Yay.
I was 9. I was a little kid, but he did let me fly. It was really cool.
That is cool. I like that.
We got to stop raising our girls. We got to stop raising our. We have got to stop raising our girls in this Christian. You can't do anything.
Yeah.
We have got to stop raising our girls like that. Really, you know, we've got to stop being Christian. I'm sorry, but I just said that.
Okay. I'm a code breaker too. I talk a lot about that.
We have got to stop. We really got to stop being Christian.
Because it's they're slave masters.
Yeah, that's all they are. I am Jewish, and there's just I don't even know that we should even be doing that. But there's just such a difference between. I'm not advocating that we all switch to being Jewish, but we got to stop with the religion.
Exactly. We got to come to find out that we are sovereign and we have all power, all knowing. It is my will shall be done as on earth as it is in heaven, as above, so below. My will. Because why? Because we are here as sovereign beings to help others wake up and know the truth and know for them to come into their power and start unmasking each other. People will go, one of my friends said the other day, Zan, he said, people will go to their graves before they will admit that they're wrong. It's why you'd rather not save your own soul and stay in fear and then let these powers that be use you.
I'm seeing people be abused because of religion. I'm seeing people be just abuse women. Flat out, women are abused. And then I'm seeing just people being abused because of religion. And I think we need to break free of that. And
yeah, I agree.
I think the movie Avatar really spoke to the things going on in the inner earth.
Mm-hmm.
We need to honor
Mother Earth.
That's what I'm getting at. And the things that are going on as a result of the COVID lockdown, this divide and hatred, it only serves the leadership of the collective to keep us divided and hating each other. It serves the corrupt leadership of this collective. And, you know, keep us hating and divided, and they can conquer us.
I do not consent.
So I do not consent. I do not consent to people being divided because of skin color and because of inbred hate.
You know what's cool? Penny Bradley was talking on Zan John's show the other day. Well, I saw it the other day finally. I mean, it's been out for a while. But how the there's different alien races, like in the, of course, the Sagittarius arm. I believe it's the Orion. She said,
Right.
if I'm not wrong. And there's beautiful bright blue colors, bright red, bright orange, bright yellow, green, you know, fluorescent colors, you name it. And here they are trying to divide us between black and white. It's like, seriously, man, it doesn't matter our body type. It doesn't matter our body color. It doesn't matter how we look. It's our soul, baby.
And then they're trying to divide us on black and white here in the United States. And if people would take a look at who makes their cell phone, who makes the clothes on their back, who makes the chocolate. People love to eat chocolate. People love coffee. They're the shoes on their feet.
Yep.
The Chinese workers, the nails, the fake nails on your fingers.
Fake nails.
Well, I'm not saying every shop, but the Chinese food that you eat, I don't know about every shop that we go into for Chinese food, but I do know those workers come in here and we don't know, but they are slaves. I'm talking about the clothes on our back, the electronics that we use, the cell phones, the electronics. Those people are slaves. The women who sew our clothing.
Mm-hmm.
Don't tell me you're so sanctimonious that every single piece of clothing you get is no.
And then there's Gucci and Louis Vuitton. And then I heard that Louis Vuitton in South Africa, they're using kids over there for slave labor for Louis Vuitton. Really, guys? You want your Gucci, and every time you freaking wear a Gucci or Louis Vuitton, you know what I mean?
You know, the
Nike,
Gucci
think about
and
it.
Right. And the Gucci and the Louis Vuitton is a creation to make the collective think, if I have a Gucci, a Louis Vuitton, a Prada, I'm rich if I'm carrying this bag. The wealthy, the 1%, don't carry that stuff. It's created so you think you have to have that so that you can project an image of you're just as much a slave walking around with your Gucci Prada. You're no better than the person who made that. And someday, with the way things are going, you're going to end up making no better than the person who made that bag. You're going to end up in the same circumstances. You think you're driving around in your Lexus and you're living in your mansion house right now. Well, let me tell you something. It's coming. They're coming. Like
the smart cities are coming. They're coming to Las Vegas. They're already in California, New York, and
you think you're so smart driving in your battery operated car. But those cars are ruining Mother Earth with the lithium batteries. It's worse than the gasoline that we're drilling out of the earth.
And then, we can actually drive vehicles with water, but do they want the public to know? No.
They don't, right. No, they don't want to use that technology because that would defeat their agenda.
And then the airplanes, they fly with fuel. Really? Airplanes fly?
Exactly.
Anti-gravity, it's, I don't know. And then these people now driving, like especially younger kids, like 19, 20. Oh, I want a Tesla car. Okay. That's weird. But I know that when I was,
It's a lot of virtue signaling. It's just virtue signaling. It's driving me crazy because it's destroying the earth. And here we are. Well, I'm driving my battery operated car, my Tesla, but you're destroying the earth. If you look at what it takes to mine for the lithium to run that car, it's just oxymoronic. That's my new word.
yeah, like I like this rapper that I really want to have on my show. His name is Tom McDonald, and he raps about all these truths, and then like he'll say stuff like, "Oh yeah, you're like so worried about, right, the turtles and oh, don't use plastic straws," but then the plastic straws are wrapped with, I mean, they're wrapped in plastic even though they're metal, or because of the COVID you can't touch, it's stupid. And then he has another video called Stupid People.
Yeah.
People are stupid. Some people are stupid. So anyway, it's almost 8 o'clock. Do you want to take a break right now? Because we got another hour. Or do
Okay,
you want
we can take a break. Yeah.
Katie, we're gonna go ahead and take a break, and I was wondering if you wanted to talk a bit more with both Karen and I when we come back about making our daughters know, or having our daughters know, that they are warrior badasses, goddesses, because or gods, however they identify. Is that cool? She has a lot of information on that too, so that might help.
That would be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Thank you, Mom. Okay, we'll be back
That
in
would be
about
good.
8 minutes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll be back.
Do I log off?
No, just mute it. Yeah, listen to the song at the end, and then we'll go.
Okay. Feeling the way that I'm feeling myself. Fuck everyone else. Gotta remember that nobody's better than anyone else here. You really need some time to think it over. Look what they do to you. Look what they do to me. You must be joking if you think that either one is free here. Get up off your knees, girl. Stand face to face with your God. Find out what you are. Hello, my name is human. Hello, my name is human. And I came down from the stars. Hello, my name is human. I'm ready for love and I'm ready for war, but I'm ready for more. I know that nobody's ever been this fucking ready before. Hey. Do you need some time to think it over? So figure it out or don't figure it out. I figured it out. The bigger the river, the bigger the drought. Get up on your knees, boy. Stand face to face with your God. And find out what you are. Hello, my name is human. Hello, my name is human. And I came down from
many, many things. And right now I wanted to shift a little bit toward just Karen, you mentioned, how we need to train our females to be stronger, to be, not so not that I'm not saying that dependent on men is not good. It's just there has to be a balance, and a lot of
We,
women.
we at the society, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, what?
I'm sorry.
Oh,
I
it's
didn't.
okay.
Well, I'm starting to feel very strongly that we need to bring the price down to, we need to make housing affordable for women to live in. Because women struggle to keep up when they're raising children. I think women are struggling because they are trying to raise children, and women usually have the burden of raising children. Not that it's really a burden. We are the caretakers, we are the nurturers. And I think prices for housing and all kinds of things to raise kids need to be brought down, or right-sized, really needs to be right-sized, because women should not have to rely on a man in order to live have a standard of living that a woman could provide for children. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I think that's why women try to get with a man. Not that they really want to. I think if a lot of women could just afford to take care of their home and their children on the money that the woman brings home, I'm not sure that women would necessarily get with a man. Not that they wouldn't have boyfriends or partners, but they might not bring men into the home so much in order to have that extra income. And I wonder sometimes if it would be better if women could just provide without. I'm not saying that fathers aren't needed and fathers are bad. I am saying there's a lot of, okay, it's like getting a little broad, and I don't want to lose my point.
Take your time.
I don't want my point to be lost. I think that there is a lot that women need to be able to provide for their children without so much of the struggle to bring home food and provide shelter and clothes and things that children need, and women. I just think that's why women get into relationships a lot.
Especially some that are abusive and narcissistic, and
This is my point. This is my point. Abuse and narcissism, which is abuse in another form. I think if women could just afford to do it themselves, I don't know. That's my point.
yeah.
Veronica,
What do you
can
think? Lee?
I was just going to say, can I chime in there? Okay,
Yes.
for those, and I know that Veronica, you have never had me on your show, so let me introduce myself.
I would love to.
Yeah, we'll get together at some point, but I am Reverend Katie Kamara. I am a meta psychoanalyst. This is what I do for a living. With what you just said, I'd like to just, and I know that I'm going to go get in trouble for what I'm about to say, but I really do need to backtrack on what you just said, because the fundamentals of it's not about a man or a woman. It's the fact that we lack awareness and the resources to be educated and to know where to find these things. No, we don't need our counterpart. No, we don't need to be put into a position where we are tormented because we can't find a way out. But the issue is here, and I've been through domestic violence. I'm 34 years old. I've been through 29 years of my life has been all categories of domestic violence and child abuse and sex abuse. I've been through it all. So really, at my age, I'm sitting here and I'm like, okay. Now that I'm actually in the profession, I kind of take a stand back, and it's really, really. It's really, really unfounded that there are so many women out there. Yes, we all want our independence. Yes, we do want to claim for that. Yes, we are mothers. We are nurturers. We are carers. But the issue here is that it's not so much the fact that we want what we want. It's the fact that we don't have the resources and the lack of awareness in order to stand on our own 2 feet, to get ourselves out of that revolving door that we see. And it almost is it almost equates to victim mentality. I know what the situation is. I fall for the same patterns over and over because I'm looking for somebody to help me get me through, when we really need to take a step back and say, hey, I'm not your hero and you don't need to come in and rescue me. And therefore, when we shed that victim mentality, we don't have to depend on other people. We need to stand up and go out and seek what we need to seek. Hell or high water, doesn't matter whether we have kids. And I know that there are a lot of people out there that are struggling. I do know that they struggle for the resources to finance their own house or the roof over their head,
Right.
the food that they get. But the thing is that we don't know. A lot of us aren't educated. A lot of us women, especially, I can only speak for women because I am a woman. We lack the resources and education and awareness to take responsibility for the lives that we have. So a lot of us are going through trauma. And when we go through trauma, we're not fully aware of ourselves and what our capabilities are to get to that end result, which is the resources, the awareness, the responsibility that it takes to raise a family or solo stand on your own 2 feet. So once you shed that victim mentality, and you step into the forefront and say, hey, yes, I can do this. Yes, I'm a woman or a man, doesn't matter who. And yes, I'm going to walk in with my children, doesn't matter what I look like, and I'm going to go seek those resources. I'm going to go, because the resources are definitely there. Nobody should ever be complaining about the government. Nobody should be ever complaining about the resources, because the resources are really there. In 2019, I spent 5 months in a homeless DV shelter. And of course, I was declared homeless. And I couldn't find a way out until one day I went, okay, I'm going to do this. I had no paperwork to prove that I was even married, no anything. And so all I had was the clothes off my back, my 2 boys, and that was that. And so I had to go ahead and approve. But the thing is, when I went through that, I got to understand who I was as a person while working through my traumas. And at the same time, I'm like, no, I got to do something for myself. And by doing something for myself, I stepped, instead of seeing that, oh, there's no way out, I now stepped into the forefront and went, okay, well, what do I got to do? I made a list of all the things that I need to do and what I need to get in order to get that bigger wage, to get that house, to get that groceries into my home, and then get whatever money that's required for me to pay my bills. And we don't have the fundamental education, because when we're growing up as little girls, we're assumed to believe, okay, we're gonna go experiment with sex, and we all know boys, and blah 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 blah. And then by the time some of us make the mistake, like I did, in getting married early, because that's what we've been taught. We've been taught to pair up. We've been taught to rely on somebody else to help us get through life. And yeah, it may have an adverse reaction, because when the time comes and we go into trouble, i.e., go into domestic violence or get into a situation where we become vulnerable, we find it really hard to get up. We just sit there and wallow on our fears rather than do something about it. I say that all the time to people, because I see it time and time again when I have my clients come in. They're like, I want to do this. I want to do. Well, why is it that you can't do it? There is no reason why you can't do it. Because as
Right.
me as an immigrant to this country, me who does not have the privileges of the United States at all, I found all the resources that wouldn't be there. And so as a woman,
Yeah, I came in as an immigrant as well, so I can relate. My father immigrated us to Arizona, and then I became a U.S. citizen at 14. But it's been hard, you know.
yeah, and it's not to
Now I
say that
was
it's
just
not
gonna,
hard. It's just saying that we just lack the awareness, and we lack the we lack the get-go. That
I think I also wanted to get at the programming that keeps us in, okay.
the institution of marriage.
Well,
yeah, condition.
yes, the programming that says you have to have a man, the programming that says your life has to match the picture in the programming of the family, the religion. I don't mean to get off subject though.
Oh,
No,
no,
it's
no,
okay.
no, no.
You're on the subject of the institution of marriage. Like they're gonna make money off of that certificate, and the taxes and all that. And going back to the narcissistic relationship, you're being gaslighted, you're being stepped on, and that's another program that they keep the feminine, like, well, who are we? And not just feminine. I mean, there are some, believe me, I have counseled some people that are male, and they are being abused and beat up pretty much by their wife, and they can't really say anything because it's another stereotype of the macho man thing. But going back to the narcissistic gaslighting thing in a marriage, that's what happens. It's to keep the female down or whatever, and then you can't find out what your gifts are, what are your abilities.
That
You know,
is,
afraid. You're afraid, and so I'm glad I finally got out of mine. Go ahead, whoever wants to
yeah,
speak.
yeah.
And that's why I keep bringing up awareness, because us women, we're not educated in any of this stuff. We're not
No.
educated. We don't. I mean, up until about 2 years ago, I didn't even know what gaslighting was. And so we're not taught the fundamentals or the psychology behind abuse. We're not taught, because we've grown up. We grew up conditioned to believe that we had to have a male counterpart. It was all I've got to get married, and I've got to have the white picket fence, and we've got to have the babies, and we've got to have this, we've got to have that.
Yeah.
But most of us really have been conditioned to stand with a counterpart rather than the other way around.
We were conditioned for that, but we weren't conditioned to
It's
be
traditional.
able to provide for that.
Yeah, because we're stuck in our four walls. We're stuck to produce children. It was, which is why I when I educate now, I talk a lot about the modern traditions, and the modern traditions are that a lot of women are breaking away from marriage. A lot of women who are who have gone through trauma and abuse end up leaving men and going into same-sex couples. They also go into other areas where they just stay single for the rest of their lives and just have playmates every now and again.
So that's where I am. I don't know that I want to have a playmate either. I left a narcissistic, abusive relationship that I was in for 7 years. I left him on the other side of the ocean, and I'm looking around at what I am providing for myself. And I think that I am done with men.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. I don't even really want to date. Although I sometimes think if there's a man who wants to show up and do like things that I like and participate in my life and enjoy that, if he enjoys me, that's really selfish though.
Yeah. I mean,
But I'm tired of I'm
yeah, but we
tired of
haven't.
having to cater to a man.
Yeah, but we haven't learned the art of companionship, and there's a very
There
big
you go.
difference
There you
about
go. You did it. You
companionship.
nailed the coffin, girl. Yep.
Yeah. So companion. So we're all looking for the lifelong lover, blah 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 blah, whatever that may be. You know, each to their own.
I'm not looking for the lifelong lover.
Yeah. Well,
If
the counterpart.
I haven't figured out how to be the companion. I'm a great caretaker.
Well, a
Like,
I'm learning,
companion.
girls, ladies, I'm learning how to be my own badass companion and loving myself
Mhm.
and going forth to my mission. And no man, no people, no whoever entity, fuck the CIA, nothing's gonna stop me because I know my mission now. And hey, yeah, it would be nice to have a counterpart or whatever, but it's like I don't want them to be using the love bite either to stop my mission because they will
Exactly.
try and stop us. You know what I mean? As starseeds.
the thing is I don't want to have to recycle and come back to this
Right.
earth
Yeah, but
because
the other thing is too is that companionship, either whether it be with yourself, which is basically finding your common ground with yourself and going through the healing that is required, and that may be lifelong. But the other thing about companionship, companionship does not mean that it is someone that you hook up with or someone that you have to have marriage with or eventuates into marriage. It doesn't. A companion is someone that is going to be by your side to support you in whatever you got through. It's like a best friend. You don't have to have someone that you're having a sexual relationship, which is what most people commonly refer to that. But you know, for people like me, I'm like, yeah, well, I'm still young. I still want to have my enjoyment. But at the same time,
sure,
I really don't want
Same
that
here.
attachment.
I understand that. I might still be young and I don't know.
Yeah, it's just a matter of finding who you are. And finding who you are out. It may be, you know, finding out what your passions are, finding out what you like to do for you, what you, without having any thought about, it's kind of like, uh, I don't want to be a victim no more. So let's just put that, leave what I've been through. Doesn't mean it doesn't exist, but let's put all that stuff in the past. Now let me be me. And what do I like?
Well,
What do I want to do in my life? What, not what you could, what you think you should have, what we're conditioned to believe to have, but what do you want?
I'm doing it. I'm doing it right now. This is what I want to do with my life. I am providing for my life. But I was taught all my life that a man was supposed to do this, and so I have a little bit too much debt that makes me feel uncomfortable. And every now and then I think I need a man to rescue me because that is what I was taught. A man will rescue you from this debt. And I go, no, I will rescue me from the debt that I have. It's not overwhelming. It's a little too much for me. I don't like it, but I pay it off every month and eventually it will be gone. And I want to just circle around to me. I am okay. And I don't need a man to come rescue me because that's what I was taught in this program, in this reality. That's what I was taught. I need a man.
Yes, but we don't want to come off as the damsel in distress either.
No, I don't. No, not at
Well,
all.
then we got Disney, guys. We got Disney. We're waiting for the blueprints or whatever the heck they're named. I can't remember. And then we have the new age community. No offense, guys, but my twin flame. Oh, really?
Oh yeah.
Yes. Oh
Okay.
my God.
No.
If I hear that one more, if I hear that one more time,
Yeah, I
oh,
did.
I'm gonna blow the flame out. I'm gonna blow it out. 'Cause
I
I need to do this.
I
Anyway.
actually did 3 shows on Twin Flame. After the third show, I stripped the Twin Flame of dogma and labels and anything else in between, and I basically said I give up. And you knew it. I literally said this on air on my own show, and I said to the community, I said, you guys who are preaching this shit. I said, you guys are nothing but snake oil salesmen who are doing nothing but promoting a word. I don't know if you've ever heard of this word. It's commonly used in Shakespeare, but limerence. And limerence is a psychological, basically an accession to finding your counterpart and thinking that there is that one counterpart that you can connect with. But no, that's why I talk so heavily about companionship, because companionship is basically a group or one or many soul connections that you have, people that you can become friends with, people that you can relate to, people that you can have support from. And when you are educated on what the red flags are in relationships, which is what I promote heavily, then you can pick and choose. You can then realize who you can pick and choose as your friends. You can disregard those friends and toss them to the trash. Doesn't matter what you want. I mean, quote unquote. You can toss them to the trash. It's all up to you. We have free will. And we don't have to be looking for that other part. But what I do suggest for people, especially if we've gone through traumatic situations, and don't believe that you are alone in this. You are not. And I say this, and don't take me the wrong way, is that the amount of people that come and see me, they have all very, very similar problems. And I turn around and I say to them, you know what? Don't misunderstand me when I say this, but what makes you so special? You're just
Exactly.
a drop in the ocean. There are so many people that are going through hardships and relationship and abusive relationship problems, but the thing is that we lack the awareness and we lack the education to have those healthy relationships, to know when we see the red flags, to know who to get involved with and who not, and what is a genuine soul connection. So that we don't have to weigh the burdens of life in that conditioned victim mentality mode, and just get up every single morning and say, hey, yeah, I can do it. I'm going to do this for me. Bring on the damn world. Because at the end of the day, nobody's going to give.
I think I'm more there every day. I'm closer to what you're talking about. I can't remember your name. So
Katie.
Katie. Oh yeah, I see it. I really think I'm more there, closer to what you're talking about every day. Since I walked away from the narcissist, I still have feelings of, oh, I need a man because I have debt.
You know
like,
why?
No, I don't need a man. I can do this. I have.
Do you know why you think like that though?
Because it's old programming. It's just old stuff.
Because we've been programmed by the narcissist, psychologically abused, and so therefore.
And the family, the family of origin and the religion that I grew up in, that I can't stand on my own 2 feet.
That's what they say.
Yeah, go ahead.
That's what they say, but I returned that to sender with consciousness attached, because that ain't me no more.
I mean, every day or every time I think about that, I think, no, this is not for me. I'm learning to do something different with my life. I don't need a man to save me from some finances that got out of control, and the finances are getting paid off. Like, you're fine. You're fine.
I had to learn after I got my divorce. I don't have credit cards. I use everything cash, and I'm learning to manifest, and I'm very grateful for the people that have donated because I'm going to Vegas. I have this mission, and
Mhm.
I'm just gonna say real quick, thank you to Lisa Weaver. She got me my business cards, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
She paid for the sign that I'm taking. I'm very grateful. The thing that goes on the table cover, and she's been doing this for like 33 years, and I've been in business before, and along the way, along your mission, changing the subject a little bit, just a little bit. Um, Once you put yourself out there, and I'm talking about anybody who has a mission here, um and let's go of fear, and let's go of what if I fail, what if I make a mistake, what if I'm not good enough. Well, first of all, you have to heal all those internal wounds and stop blaming everything. Yes, we know it's a program, but we got to get off our asses, excuse me, but and start writing. What do you want to do? What is your mission? What is it that you have right now? How is it that I can promote myself? Well, I always tell everybody, start doing a blog, a YouTube channel, Zoom meetings with other people to connect with other minds that are alike, that are going through the same thing. I didn't want to ask for help financially, but my friend Lisa, she's like, you know what? Promote yourself shamelessly because this is your mission and the people want to hear you. And this is only the beginning, baby. I've already come a long way, baby. I'm going to keep going forward. So I always tell you all, it's unmask yourself, unchain your heart, begin the healing. And once you're like, even if you're in the middle of healing, go for it. Go start your own business. Uh, be brave. Talk to people on the street. Ask them questions. Ask yourself questions. Take your time to know thyself, and once you know what you're going to do and you start on that journey, the universe, or people will just show up and help you. So I mean, how did Katie, I mean, you're broadcast, you're producer, you do a lot, so you have all these certificates, and I'm sure it's hard, right? I mean, I still don't have a website and things like that, but we're going forward, and that's what's important, to not look back. If you do look back, I mean, it better be for more healing.
Yeah, I mean, for me, over the last in 2000, what was that? May 2019 is when I started the foundation of my empire, and I had absolutely well, obviously I had prior education, but I decided to go ahead and you know what? I went back online. I went and got my education. I ended up doing what I needed to do, and now I'm a candidate PhD. I do, and I'm a full, I'm a full-time lecturer. I own several businesses, and all built within the last 2 years. I haven't even gotten to the 2 years. So I went from being 5 months of homelessness and getting over from, a traumatic event through domestic violence to then going through my entire life getting the education that I need to do, because I found that, you know what, I'm going to do what I'm going to do. And I found out what my passions were, and as I got involved I became more passionate about what I do, and now I help through my own successes. I help other women, and so
Thank you, Katie.
I have literally, I just announced today that in all of my endeavors that I'm going through right now, I have now gone into partnership with Purposeful Women International, which is a non-profit organization. And we basically now are forefronting to raise funds to purchase books for incarcerated individuals in Ohio. I've got a connection with an inmate up there, a legitimate one, who is she's just found out in 14 days there's going to be no trial for what happened to her. There's going to be nothing given to her. And she's basically made to plead out to a minimum of what could be 11 to 23 years. And this is a result of a crash. It became a result of a crash, and she had a friend in a passenger seat, and She got involved with a crash. The crash itself wasn't her fault. She was had a crash with another car, and as a result, it killed her passenger, her best friend. And so she's been in prison for the last 2 years. And of course, now she's like, well, I have an extensive background in in holistics as well. And of course, she's like, well, you know what? I'm going to use it while I'm here. I'm going to be sitting here for a decade at least. Why not use my expertise inside the prison? I'm not going to hold myself back and fall victim to I'm falling victim to the system because obviously the system's hard doing me right now without a trial. Like, I can't prove myself. I don't have a leg to stand on. But that's COVID. I mean, we can't do anything about that. But what she can do, knowing that of the situation, is that she's decided to use her expertise, and she's going to be, she is a businesswoman too. And while she's in business, while she's incarcerated, she wants to run to the warden. So when she gets transferred over to the prison, she wants to run to the warden and see if she could start writing classes and start integrating and doing classes and that for the inmates, doing something of purpose. So, that just shows that there's always a glimmer of hope for those people who are thinking that, that mentality, the victim mentality, I can't find a way out. I can't stand on my own 2 feet. There's nothing I can do in this world. My hardships are bigger than the bigger picture. And so, here's a woman that is completely educated. She's just like me in every which way. And she's like, I'm going to do something. While I'm here in 4 walls, I got to do something. And so through the connection, I became her outside source. So in other words, I can, and so she will be running, doing a publishing company from the inside with me managing it from the outside. And
maybe she can publish my books.
yeah. Well, are you going to prison? But no, no, you can come to me for publishing. But no,
well, you know what I mean to you. Whatever. Oh my God, blonde moment, excuse me.
But no, but that's the power of the motivation that she has. Me being someone who wants to help, regardless of the circumstances. Get those feet firm. It doesn't matter what the circumstances are, incarcerated or not. You have less leg room in a prison. And so by keeping that mentality going, I can do it. There's something I can do. Can help you build your self-esteem and your confidence back again without having to think of those conditioned programmings that we had before. And so we can succeed in our own lives by having that mentality. We're no longer seeing the revolving door. And by removing those attachments that we have, which is those conditioned beliefs, we have that old saying, what is it? Who cares what anybody thinks? When we have that mentality, who gives a goddamn what anybody else thinks? Because those conditionings, once you start telling yourself that every day, now you're having the confidence and self-esteem to stand on your own 2 feet and that you can do it and that nobody else around you, family, friends, or exes, whatever the case may be, even your own children, can't tell you what to do.
Exactly.
Or how to do it.
Yes, and my thing is there's no excuse. Like
exactly.
No excuse. And and sometimes like when when my other alters are like trying to make me feel sorry for them or myself, I'm like, no, bitch, you're getting up your ass, you're going to the gym and you're gonna do some deadlifts and squats and you're gonna kill that. You're gonna crush it. So thank you, Katie.
You're very welcome.
Yeah.
And I know Veronica too. that, sometimes when I talk about these subjects and that, I am very, very hard hitting. And the reason being that I am, it's not because of my, past or anything like that. It's because I see so many women out there and men who are suffering. They just see that revolving door. They can't get out of it, and there's no excuse. There's no excuse. I get that we have a past. So I get that we are conditioned, but there's no excuse to heal from it. There's no excuse to
Right.
say I can't do it. There's no excuse for anything, and that's why I keep saying awareness and education. We're going to go back to that and learn how to be ourselves and learn how to strive to what we want to achieve to be the best that we can be.
Go Army, the best that we can be. No, just kidding.
Exactly.
Karen, I had to say that. But that's
Be
another.
all that you can be was
That
my,
you can be. Be the best that I can be. Be the best that Katie can be. Be the best that y'all can be. Yes.
yeah. Do you do counseling, Katie?
Yeah, I do. I do counseling, coaching, therapy, alternative therapy. I do all of it. I'm trained in multiple modalities in alternative medicine. So yeah, I specialize in regression hypnotherapy as well.
Oh, we might need to get together.
Sure.
Yes.
I've
And she's
been
also
looking,
a
not
reverend.
really, I've been looking for something because what the VA offers is just more trauma.
Yeah, and sometimes you find yourself, and that's because a lot of places that offer kind of quite a quote unquote institutionalized therapy tends to be very, very was that scripted? They don't have the you go into holistic medicine and it's more heart to heart. They understand. They give you the space that you need, and they're not looking for a whole bunch of medications that you need to take because
I
we'll,
don't need, I don't need somebody throwing medication at me. I'm not going to do it. And then that's
Exactly.
all they do over there at the VA. And then they get mad at me because I won't. And then they want to dig through my VA medical record, and then it's like, I'm not here so you can dig into that. I'm
Yeah.
here to reason some things out. But you
Mhm.
want to be all up in my business, and I'm here with this set of stuff. I want to reason some things out. Okay, no. Then I'm out, and I'm still over here with this pile of stuff that I want to reason out, and you don't want to. Okay, whatever.
No, I get it, and the
And then
other thing
nothing
is,
changes.
yeah, and I when I see clients and that I take it from a conscious approach. So you are fully aware, you are fully taking responsibility that you need the help to recover from the traumas or whatever the help that you require, so that you can get on a path. I can't fix everybody, but the thing is with therapy,
I can take responsibility.
yeah.
I can take responsibility. I can do that.
Yeah, and
But
that's
I
the whole
can't
point.
sit there and have someone digging through my medical history with the VA. It's ugly. It's ugly. But anyway, we can,
We can talk about that later.
yeah, we can. I don't want to hijack. I don't.
It's okay. So
I don't.
how can sorry. So we'll go with we're gonna go, it's almost 9, so we better say aloha goodbye for now. How can they get a hold of you, Karen, if you wanna talk to anybody about your memories or maybe forward some recipes for diabetics or talk about bodybuilding? Like how can people reach out to you?
Well, I have an email address. It is, let's see, it's Karen.berg20 at gmail.com. Sorry. I'm like,
I was like, at where?
I just, I stopped right there.
Are you on Facebook? Are you on any other platform that maybe people can see your pictures of what you make?
I'm on Instagram as Ladybird, LadeeBurgh.
Thank you. And how can people get a hold of you, Katie? Tell me.
They can Google my name. No, I'm kidding.
They can Google mine.
No, you can go over to soma-fusion.com, somafusionmedia.com. You can literally Google my name I'm on all platforms. You can go over to the Smartest Education Center.com. You can go over to easypeasysolutions.org. You can go over to the universalchristchurch.com.
Oh, you're a reverend, so you can marry people, right?
Yes, I can. Legitimately. Yes, I am. I am a board member, so I'm actually a board member of that church. So all those businesses that I just mentioned, are actually legacy businesses. I recently got in December my license for my own charter school. So I have the Soma Fusion Academy, that's just why I strive for education. So. I've got to build the website for it, but I'm doing a whole heap of stuff. Very very soon, I will also be launching the Metaphysical University, which is basically a university that teaches metaphysics, alternative integrated medicine, psychic development, and anything else in between. So I teach people from a multidisciplinary point of view. For instance, for someone who wants to become a life coach, I teach them 4 disciplines. So I don't like life coaches that are people that can just tell me about life and get you through life. I teach people from how to be a therapist, a counselor, and have theory in psychology in order to help clients. So it really doesn't matter which way I take things, but I also have a psychiatry background, which means that I can also pick out on mental health as well.
That's awesome. Thank you, Katie.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Karen. And
Thank
me,
you.
well, they can reach me at Unchained. I have this little card here, Veronica Bartolini with Unchained Hearts. And I do many things. I'm a healer, psychic medium, tarot, alchemist, right? Behavioral health, tech, cleansings, recovery coach, relationships, and dream interpretation, etc. So I just admire, women as yourself that take the bull by the horns, like they say, and they're striving to better themselves and to connect with people. So we're out for tonight. So thank you very much, everyone, for being here on Soma Fusion, Mind, Body, and Soul. See you next time. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.